Today on Workbench we have a Nintendo GameCube controller. It's got a problem. We're looking at the left stick. Now obviously it's missing its rubber, but look at how loose this is. Now it's normal for them to have a little bit of play, but when it's got this much play, it's basically unusable. So we're going to walk through how we replace that. And first thing we got to do is get it open. To get it open, you need a tri-wing screwdriver, and then there's 6 screws. And those come out real quick. Once the screws are out, the back comes right off. And then you got everything motherboard wise, and we're going to pull that out. Now this is a good opportunity to clean your shell and buttons. I'm going to throw mine in the ultrasonic cleaner, but for you, if you don't have an ultrasonic cleaner, clean it out under the sink with the scrub brush or throw it in the dishwasher, something like that. And we're going to work on the motherboard. From here, we're going to get rid of these caps and throw those away. We're going to put replacements on that look new or are new. And this being the gray stick, we're going to remove and desolder. The points are partially blocked by this guy. It's no big deal because those are just clipped, and you just push that out of the way. You don't need to remove this, you just need to push it out of the way. And then we're going to work on desoldering from this side of the board. Now, as I move along with this desoldering, we're going to talk about the last 20 years or so. And over the last 20 years, since the dawn of Smash Bros. Melee, the GameCube controller has been the controller of choice for people who play Smash Brothers competitively. My nozzle's a little too small for this. Come on. Let's see if we can kind of push this out. Yeah. Now, my experience is that people who take their Smash Bros. Very seriously will never be happy with a replacement. They want OEM all day, every day. Not just the stick mechanism, but also the stick cap. And if it's not OEM, then they will blame the controller for not being able to play. Now, I don't play Smash competitively, and so I have no idea if you can feel every nuance of a controller stick and therefore blame bad gameplay on the controller. But this is something I've experienced time and time again. So if you are a Smash Bros. Player and your controller is worn out, then your best option is to find a used controller and verify that parts haven't been replaced on it and that it's as original as possible so that you can't blame the controller. Or just buy new old stock and use those controllers. And my experience also with Smash Bros. Players is that they don't like the remade GameCube controllers. They only want the original ones from the GameCube era. Okay, so once we got that stick in place, we're going to solder it in. For whatever reason, it seems like they don't like the ones that were remade by Nintendo during the era of like Smash Bros. For the Wii U. They only want the original GameCube ones. And so, if you were one of these uptight Smash Bros. Players that really feels like everything comes down to the controller and not your actual skill level, then I would advise against doing this repair and seek out new old stock, because it's the only thing that you're not going to be able to complain about. But for your casual player who just wants to play Mario Sunshine and Mario Strikers, most of your common games, this is going to work out great. Now you'll notice I lifted a pad a little bit on this one. It's something that does happen when you're using a desoldering gun. when they aren't connected to a trace line and it's just a random little piece of metal resting on the board, they come up a lot easier. But being just a leg, it's not important. The other three are going to hold it on just fine. And it's probably still held a little bit there, but they're not going anywhere. Anyway, now that that's desoldered, we're just going to clean this up a little bit. And that brown stuff is just flux residue. Shows up a lot easier on these white coated boards, but they're not gonna harm the function of this. So if you're doing this and you can't clean it all up, or it doesn't clean up absolutely perfect, then it just doesn't matter. Anyway, then this will clip right back where it goes. Little rumble motor here goes there. And then we now have a new stick that we're gonna put a new cap on. Like that. And the yellow one. Then we're gonna put this back together in our newly cleaned shell. Now, reassembly is super straightforward. The only thing I want to caution people about, oh my gosh, it's supposed to be super straightforward. Go into place. There we go. Just make sure that your wire gets tucked right back where it's supposed to be, and make sure that your triggers are in the up position, because the springs on the back of this thing are forcing to the up position. And then that about covers it. I'm going to show you the finished product after I get a couple screws in. If you found this video helpful, then hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to see me refurbish more controllers, I do a lot of controller refurbishment. Drop a comment, show me what type of controller you'd like to see be fixed, and we could try to do a future video on that. But as you can see, this is a 20-year-old controller. It's refurbished. Looks pretty good for a used controller, wouldn't you say? Alright, we're all done. Thanks for watching.